What happened? You said you came into this with an injury?
It's just it was like the same. Does this work or does this work? Yeah. It was like the same before I was meant to fight Cowboy. Last week, my knee just completely gave out and I tore it. I didn't know how bad because as soon as it happened, I just, sort of just tried to block it out. Everything this week, it was just one more thing on it, and so then it wasn't really hurting in the fight, but now it's just throbbing me, and it's stiffening up a bit. I'll be okay in a few days, but I'll see what's up with it and I'll get it a little bit checked out.
What happened? Did you take a strike to the knee, or did you step on it?
I was sparring. It was probably my best day of sparring. I was just on fire, and I just got a bit overwhelmed. And as I threw a leg kick, one of my sparring partners, Chris, stepped in. So my knee sort of stopped on his leg, but my leg wrapped around it, and so my knee it gave out. It's the same knee that I'd done before Cowboy. It's just problems. But listen, I'm not pulling out to no fight for nothing. I'm just not. If Kelvin would have got the victory there tonight, you wouldn't have seen me sat here talking about injuries or jet lag or visa problems. It's, as I've always said, I'm honest, I'm from the heart, and you either win or you lose, and that man who wins on that night is the better man.
Yeah. You said all the right things when we spoke to you yesterday, everything's good, but now that you're here, can you be honest? I mean, not knowing, especially not knowing you had a knee injury, but not knowing if you have a visa, if you're going to be able to get over here, the late flight, I mean, how tough was the final week in these last couple of days?
Do you want me to be brutally honest?
Please.
It was like I don't know. I can't even explain it because I'm waiting next door at the embassy in London, and it's every day that going by is I don't know if I'm getting a visa, and I know that Dana and the guys, they had everyone. I think Dana spoke to Trump about me. I mean, that's I didn't know. There was times when I thought this fight's not happening, and that, I know there was a lot given over the weight cut video with Kelvin and that, but Kelvin probably just thought, fuck this, I'm gonna eat some shit because he's not turning up. You know what I mean? And there was times when I just wanted to do it myself, and so there was that, and then there was I knew there was going to be jet lag, and I knew there was going to be water retention for weight cut, and I didn't know the fight was happening, and I had a few injuries, and it's just that didn't mean anything to me. I wanted to just get in there. I didn't want to win. I didn't want to lose. I just wanted to be in there, and I don't even know. I can't say anything. It's I've been invincible all my life. I know my skill set I've got. I know I can beat any guy in any division. I know that with my skill set. You've seen that tonight. Number 4, Kelvin, look at the guys he's knocking out. I know it wasn't the most exciting fight, but he didn't touch me. He just simply didn't touch me. And that's no disrespect to him, that just shows my skill set. But, before Woodley, there was no one guy who could beat me, and then 2 losses like that, it just took a lot away from me, inside of me. I didn't say it, but I fought some hard demons, and then obviously stuff with getting arrested, and then there's other things, and you lose sponsors. It's like a fucking whirlwind, and it's good and it's bad, and it's, you know what I mean? So just to get in there tonight, I tell you, I was trying to fake an injury before walking out. I was thinking of an injury to fake because I just simply did not want to get in there. And this is probably things that fighters don't talk about, but you know me, I'm honest. And that's just where I was at. Now I'm here, confidence is back. Fuck all these middleweights, I'm coming for everything. It's back.
Let's say, with all the confidence that we know you have, you had some pretty honest quotes afterwards that you said you were fearful getting in there and a little bit afraid. So has that been rectified at this point, or do you think that's something you have to deal with every time?
Every fight, no matter what any fighter will ever tell you, they will be scared. If they tell you they're not, it's a blatant lie. But this fight, I wasn't scared. I was terrified. I wasn't shaken, but I just didn't want to go. The magnitude of the event. Everything, I was doubting, I was thinking of ways to get out of the fight. This was only today, and I'm just so scared. And then the first round over, I'm like, Darren, come on, pull yourself together. And I was like, okay, now we're going to win this fight the way we planned. We're not going to let him touch you, and you're going to win it on whatever. I knew it could be hard to knock him out. I know I've got the power, but I know he's a tough cookie, and that's just how it is. The fighters might not say it, but I'll always say it, whether it's good or bad. I've been criticised in the past or whatever, but that's where I was at today, as soon as I woke up.
Yeah. Last thing for me, I mean, you jumped into the deep end of the division, right? Dana was in here just now, and he said, guessing he probably thinks that puts you top 6 or so in the division. I mean, where do you feel like you go here when you beat somebody that high ranked to start with? Where do you go next?
I don't know. I really don't know. I've said this. I should have said it on the mic maybe, but years ago, Israel, before I was already like sort of at the top, before I was fighting Woodley, and he identified as like the fight that was going to happen with me and him. And I want that fight for legacy. You know, I've spoke about Anfield, my hometown, the Liverpool Football Club, and that's a legacy fight for me. You know, I've said this before here on these tables. Forget the belt. Obviously, if me and him fight, the belt's up. But it's the fight with me and him that I know it's gonna be. It will, honestly, I swear to God, like I get goosebumps thinking about it. And you know, if it's that, it's done. If it's something else, it's something else. And listen, I ain't afraid of no one, no weight division, none of them.
Darren, just over here, Robert Whittaker is keen to come back to action as soon as possible. I'm just wondering, what would you think of a matchup with a guy like Rob?
Yeah, I think it's terrific fight. You know, but we're both like strikers. I don't know really who wins in the wrestling department. No one can take me down and keep me down. That's simple. I just moved up to middleweight, and you got Kelvin, who's an unbelievable grappler. He took me down twice, 3 times, but he couldn't keep me there. There's no man keeping me down. So, you know, I don't know where it goes, but as I say, confidence lacking, confidence high. I believe I beat them all. I do. I truly believe with me, the way I know I can train and my mindset is and my skill set, I can beat them all.
A lot of people sort of talking about Yoel Romero possibly getting this
Oh, fuck that guy. Well, I don't want to ever fight him. He's a beast.
I was going to ask you, he's coming off a loss. Yeah. A lot of people are saying you're now coming off a win. I mean, logically, don't you think it makes sense for you to fight?
Listen, not make sense anymore. We've just seen the 2 gangsters fight for the BMF belt. You know, I'm gutted the way it ended. You know, I wanted to see a 5-round war. It was a good fight while it lasted, but anything's possible. 3 losses, you know, after I was coming off 2 and they put me in with Calvin, anything's possible. If it's Joel, if they wait for Costa, if it's someone else more deserving of myself, so be it. And then if it's me at the end of it, you know, I'm not gonna say no. You know what I mean? There's a few watches I want to buy, so it's a payday as well. So let's do it. But for now, I'm so thrilled just to be in this. You know, I just co-main evented 26 years of age. Madison Square Garden. You know, I'm doing things that I never thought would be possible.
And just last one from me, Israel Adesanya obviously here this week. I'm just wondering, did you get a chance to speak to him at all? You guys have a lot of respect for each other. Have you run into each other at all during this fight?
We always chat on Instagram messages. We send a few memes and that. Like, he's a cool guy, and you know, it's the same thing what I said about Masvidal. 100% of me is happy for what he's doing. A few people have said like, oh, you're not angry because of what he's doing now and stuff. When he fought me, it wasn't Till versus Masvidal, it was the Darren Till show in London. That's what it was, and then he took that from me, and the only thing inside of me now is to be there now, you know, getting all this attention, and so, you know, Israel, me and him are good, but we're going to fight, and we're going to try and take each other out, and maybe one day fight Masvidal again, get that a big rematch. He just told me in the lobby that he'd move up to middleweight. You know, I'm not scary middleweight now. I'm not cutting no weight.
Darren, you got 15 minutes over here. You got 15 minutes of experience fighting at middleweight. Overall, performance-wise, how'd you feel fighting 15 pounds heavier?
I don't really know. It didn't seem like much. Kelvin, he felt like the same amount of strength as Woodley when he had me against the cage, but I was turning him. But I do like sometimes to be on the cage. I like to think, and I know I'm very good in my defence, but I'm sure there's guys, as I said about Yoel, who I'll feel it a lot more if I ever fight some guy like him or stuff, but I feel like I'm at the right weight. Everyone looks at me now, you know, I'm no welterweight. It's just simple, you know. You can size a guy up and you can look at me from my build, but it's also my legs. My legs are humongous, so I'm just no welterweight. You know, I'm a middleweight. I'm probably not the biggest or the strongest, but you know that doesn't mean everything in a fight. You know, extra 15 pounds, it doesn't really mean a lot. To me, it's all about skill set.
was the weight cut difficult? I mean, is there? Can you put on more weight? Because you did say how you felt like he was a bit stronger than you.
Yeah, I feel like I misjudged it, but I feel like the flight just had me, it got me, because when I got off the plane, when I looked at the scales, I expected a certain weight, and it was like 2.5, wasn't it? Over what I was expecting, and I was like, oh fuck, like I can't be dealing with this welterweight cut again. Fuck that. So you know, it was funny because then it was like 4 o'clock and they were saying to do this and that. I was like, fuck all that, I'm here to cut weight and fight. So I cut weight and I got all my weight off. There was like 1.5 kilos, 2 kilos left, and I said, okay, I'm gonna rest for a few hours and then I'll do my last little bit. And you know, it wasn't a struggle, it wasn't. The next time we're better, but there's been a lot of shit this week, so the weight cuts, knees, all that shit, it doesn't really fucking mean anything. Fighters might say it, fighters might make excuses and that, but I'm not about that life. You know what I mean? I get in there to fight and win or lose. The man who wins is always the better man. That's how I see it.
And fans, media, and many people weren't really too happy when this matchup was first announced. They thought maybe it was a little too much for you. Do you think people forgot about your skill set and maybe made too much about your losses?
People forget that Stephen Thompson just took Vincente to town, and they forget what I done to Thompson. Now, you couldn't think, well, you didn't do anything, but I played him in his own game. Whether you say I won or he won, I played Stephen Thompson, considered one of the best strikers in mixed martial arts, at his own game. Nearly stopped him in the 5th. So people forget. People forget all of that. Do you know what I mean? And then they're thinking, oh, Darren just goes in there to knock him out. They forget about my IQ and my skill set. So, you know, tonight they remembered. But there's always going to be all that shite. You just, as I say, the good and the bad, you just have to deal with it. But I got like a nice feeling inside of me because of how many people doubted me and how many people I know who don't think I know doubted me and stuff like that. It's very rewarding.
Darren, congratulations for getting back in the winning ways. Your friend, the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury, the lineal heavyweight champion, has recently stated he wants to get into MMA.
Yeah.
He's been calling out Stipe, Francis Ngannou. Francis is exchanging barbs with him. Let's be real, you're a realistic guy. Does he have a chance of winning in MMA if he competes?
You know, Tyson's my boy. Tyson is proper my boy. We're under the same the same management. Any guy gets in there tries to like strike with Tyson. I had one of my sparring partners, a heavyweight, Tom, even said to me, he said Tyson is untouchable. He's just so good. But then you have to bring all these other factors in, takedowns and kicks and stuff. And I just believe in a little bit of training, yeah. So if he wants to train with me or Connor, whatever be, you're gonna train with me obviously because we're MTK for life. But I think he, you know, look, people want to say things he's in WWE and that and all that, but look what he's making this be massive in America now, and he's making this big name and he's making money for his family, and he's a clever man. And you gotta always go back to that Deontay Wilder fight, a guy who's only 15 stone, how hard he punches at that weight, and Tyson just gets up like from the dead. So he'd do well. He'd fight Stipe, Francis. You know, my money's on Tyson, but you know he definitely needs to know, and I'll tell him myself that he's got to learn some certain things. MMA is different from boxing.
Lastly, Sweet Caroline, your walkout music, very unique song choice. What's going through your mind when you hear Sweet Caroline?
Do you know what? I'm gonna tell you the brutally honest truth now is I got an email 5 days ago from the girl who does the walkouts, and I just wasn't bothered about that or anything, as I said. And she asked what music I would be walking out to, and I didn't reply. And then just before walking out, then we're calling. I said, "Call." I forgot. I didn't want to come out to Sweet Caroline. I just didn't want to come out to it. I don't know why. I just had fears, anything. And I come on, and I just couldn't even believe how many people were cheering for me. And then it was just on. I was like, okay, this is good. You know, but I don't think I'll ever relive that moment from when I fought in Liverpool. We'll see. Anfield, definitely the next place I'm fighting. That's the next place next year. It's going to happen. I know it's going to happen, but Sweet Caroline's the one. You know that.
Darren, where do you rate this in your career moments? Obviously, you headlined Liverpool. This is MSG. What for you is the big you know, the big highlight of your career so far?
Everything, the highs and the lows, the losses, the wins, you know, the controversy, you know, everything. But when I want to sit down, when I retire, when I'm 35, I want like to have sold out Tamfields and won a UFC title. That's the goal. You know, all other things are important, but that's the goal. And right now, in my mind, I can see Anfield happening. I just can. You know, I just can see it visually now, right now when I speak.
And how much would that mean to you to get that dream?
You know, I'm from Liverpool. Liverpool's a very iconic city. The guys in New York, and they speak to me as well, and they say I'm from Liverpool, they know the place. And I've sold out the arena there already, the Echo Arena. First ever guy in combat sports to do that. Was the first ever guy, and I'll be the first guy to do it at Anfield. There's a boxer, we've got a boxer from Liverpool, Callum Smith, and he's scheduled to fight there next year. But that's boxing, I'm MMA, so when he sells it out, and as I say, I'll be 100% happy for him, and then I'll sell out in MMA. That's the goal right now.
Darren, do you know the severity of your knee injury?
Sorry?
Do you know the severity of the knee injury at the moment?
You know, it's, I just, since Cowboy, I like, I've just sort of put it to the back of my mind, and I wrestle, I do everything with it, everything, I stretch it, put it behind my head, everything. I'm a flexible guy, but you know, now it's swelled up a little bit, and this is what I always do. I'll ice it, and then when it feels good, okay, fuck that. So I'm probably gonna leave it, to be honest with you. Most fighters now feeling this right now will probably get surgery, but this is not a telltale for fighters anyway to kick me, because I can take low kicks, trust me. Ex-Muay Thai fighter, but you know, we'll see. It's not that bad.
And obviously you got a win on the big stage against the number 4 ranked middleweight. As people said, a lot of people were doubting you going into this. Do you feel that you silenced the doubters tonight?
Yeah, I do. I always talk about doubters, and I feel like I've been being doubted a lot of me. Like, you know, I've only been in MMA for like 7 years, 8 years. That's not a long time, and I'm 26, and you know, as I say, sometimes you look at what people write about you and what people say, and what messages you receive, and what people you think, they think you don't know what they're saying, and just the doubt that comes out of them, it drives me on, and you know, I feel like, as I always say, the good and bad in life, that's the bad, because it is really bad, and it's hard to take millions of people putting you down. Even though I know in myself how good my skill set is, and any one of them couldn't stand 10 seconds with me, but it drills a hole in your head, and it can affect you. And not that only affected me for this fight, just everything, coming off the losses I was coming off, and how invincible I thought I was before that. I know I'm still the greatest, but I know I've got to work at that, and you know, now I'm just so thrilled. I don't really care about the win or whatever. I'm just so thrilled to be here. I really am. I've come back from a lot, and I don't speak about it much, but I really have. I've built myself back up. Yeah.
What if they told you can headline at Everton?
Everton? Come on. Not happening.
Beforehand, before the fight, you said your loss to Pessis kind of lit a fire within you. Can you talk a little bit about your mindset going into this one?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, I've never been knocked out before. My last fight is that and my second fight with Matt Brown is the only fight I felt like I've actually ever lost. The ones against Woodley and Till, I felt like I won those fights. So it did lit a fire in me. I mean, you know, when you get knocked out, you go back home wondering, well, why didn't I see this? What's going on? Am I slowing down? You know? Am I getting too over this game? So all this stuff's kind of going through your head, but at the end of the day, you know, you got to tell yourself no. I'll be 37 in February, but I consider myself, you know, a young 37-year-old. And you going into this fight like I did every other fight. You know, I was focused, I worked hard, I trained hard. I felt great going into the gym and just pushing myself. And I got good coaches and good teammates to help me get me there. So I was definitely ready for this fight mentally and emotionally and physically for sure.
Do you feel like you're telling a new chapter now? Do you feel like you've left that all behind you now and you're looking forward?
Oh, 100%. I'm not giving up on that title. I know I'm ranked number 9, like I said, or 8. I don't know what I am right now, but I'm not giving up on it. I know I'm the best in this division. I fought the best in this division. The only guys I haven't faced are the top two right now. You know, I faced Darren twice. You know, Till, Johnny Hendricks, Ellenberger, Whitaker. I'm not giving up on it.
Is there anyone that makes sense for you next?
I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I would love to have fought the guys that whoever won it tonight. I mean, I know Masvidal did, and I know it didn't happen the way he wanted it to, and so they're probably going to run it back. But give my body time to heal up when I get back home, and we'll go from there.
Wonder Boy, over here, front left. You've obviously always been so open about the Pettis fight. I'm just wondering, in that first round today, what was going through your mind? You know, Vicente hit you with some good shots. What were you thinking there?
Well, normally if you go, normally I kind of take it fairly slow in the first to kind of figure my partner out and see how the feel goes. You know, a lot of times you can kind of figure them out just by feeling, moving around, you know, throw some feints, and however they react to their feints can really set up some strikes afterwards. But he did land some good shots. I didn't expect him to actually come forward as fast as he did. But it was kind of like, it was really cool to be able to take those shots and keep going. You know, especially after getting knocked out during the Pettis fight. A lot of guys are worried about that. And that was something mentally that I was prepared for going into this fight. I didn't hesitate one bit, and I didn't think I couldn't take his shots at all. So I think that helped me a lot. A lot of guys that get knocked out, they rush in there too soon and barely get clipped, and out they go. So I made sure we took the time off to really heal up, and I think that did the job for sure.
You mentioned fighting through with the bad hand and everything you went into going into this fight. What do you think you learned about yourself after tonight?
I learned that, you know, even in the toughest times, I'm able to adapt to my opponent. I remember, you know, in the first round he hit with a good shot. I couldn't really see. I was seeing two people out there in the first. He hit me in the right eye. Couldn't see very. I don't know if you saw me rubbing my eye in the first round, but I couldn't see him. And where most people would find a way out at that point, you know, I kept going. So I learned a lot out of my losses and in those tough situations more than anything.
You had told me, you know, about a year ago that you felt you needed to make some changes to your game to kind of open up a little more, maybe be more aggressive and just kind of fill in some of the holes that you thought you saw in yourself. Do you think tonight you win fight of the night in a winning effort? You landed the most strikes of any fight in your UFC career. Are you trending in the right direction in that regard?
100%. You know, I go out there in the mindset that like I do every other fight, to be honest with you. He was just an opponent that I felt like I had to stand there a little bit, kind of set up my strikes, throw a little bit of feints, so I didn't really go anywhere. I didn't work my ankles like I normally do, because it just didn't feel right. And like I said before, a lot of times you step out in the octagon, if something doesn't feel right, you know, you change it up, you have to adapt. So my angle changing and stuff like that, it didn't feel right. Like I said, you know, going into the second round, I ended up breaking my hand, so that kind of slowed me down a little bit too. But I didn't realize I threw over 200-something strikes. That's crazy. You know, it's nowhere near as Colby Covington, but I think it was like 600, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
He had 2 more rounds, though.
Oh, that's right. He did. That was a 5-5 round fight. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm just happy to get back in that win column for sure.
Yeah. Any idea like how bad the hand is? Like, is it something you think might have to get surgery?
It's
or
definitely broken. I mean, the knuckle's kind of back here. So I don't know if you can see it, but it's kind of soft and gooey right here, but back here is fairly hard. I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure it's broken. But you know, it's not the first time I've had to do. I mean, when I fought Masvidal back here in 217, I ended up breaking both my thumbs in the first round, and you know, have to keep finding the other 2 rounds is pretty rough. But I've done it once, I can do it again. So that was kind of what I wasn't really thinking. I was just doing. I mean, if you're thinking out there, it's too slow. So if it hurt, oh well. But it did kind of slow me down in that 3rd round, because every time I threw as hard as I threw, I swear I hit this guy as hard as I could, and he just kept coming forward. I don't know how many times I've knocked him down, but tough, golly. He's definitely the toughest dude I've faced in the octagon so far.
Yeah, you know, speaking of tough dudes you faced in the octagon, what did you think of Masvidal's performance?
Oh, he looked better than ever, man, for sure. Definitely a different fighter from when I fought him last. His striking looked good, very unpredictable. That head kick in the first round was sick. I got to give him props for that because I love to kick people in the head as well. But I thought it was great. I mean, Nate Diaz, didn't have an answer. He tried to come back with some stuff, but I can just tell Masvidal crushed him in the first, at that first round. He didn't want it anymore. I'm pretty sure he got it out of there. But hats off to Masvidal, man. Definitely deserves it. And like I was telling everybody before, that's my inspiration, bro. He did. I mean, I beat him in UFC 217. Now after 3 fights, he could be up for the title next. I could be there this time next year for sure.
Steven, over here. You just mentioned that after your knockout loss to Anthony Pettis, questions creeped up whether you were slowing down or not. I'm wondering, with that being said, how much was riding on this fight as far as your future?
I would say a lot. I mean, after a third loss wouldn't be pretty good, especially in the UFC's eyes. I've seen guys get booted out with less than that. So all this stuff is going through your head. But for me, that's just like, man, that should be in my head. That negative stuff shouldn't be there. So every time that would pop in my head, I would fill it with something positive. I'm gonna go out there and win this thing. I'm gonna end this fight with my hand raised. So that's what I try to do going into this fight. Actually walking out, there's so much stuff that pops in your head. You're gonna die. When you walk out, that's literally what you're thinking. And I'm wishing like an asteroid comes down and blows the place up so I don't have to fight. All this stuff is going through your head. It's like, it's crazy. And I've got close to almost 80 fights. And every time I step out there, it's the same. But I think when that goes away, maybe I need to hang it up. You know what I'm saying? So those nerves definitely help you when you're out there. But I try and fill those negative thoughts with something positive for sure.
Was there a chance that we could have seen the last of you tonight if things didn't go right? Did you ever think of that or no? No,
not at all. Not at all. I mean, like I said, I'm 37. You got guys fighting till they're 41. DC, I thought he looked, his last fight, the one he lost, better than his other last 3 fights. He looked amazing. He just got caught. I've been there before. So I keep my body healthy. I train on a daily basis. We don't beat each other up in the gym, so we train smart. My dad has been training guys since the 70s and 80s, so we listen to him. And he knows how to train fighters, and that's how we do it.
At media day, we spoke how you've been training smarter, and also you've been giving your body a break, especially in between fights, just to expand your career and be as healthy as possible. I know we don't know the status of the hand, but ideally, how much time would you like to take off?
Man, not too long. If this is okay, 3 months down the road, hopefully that's all it takes. Hopefully I don't need any surgery, but I would love to get back out there as soon as possible.
And last for me, next pay-per-view, the welterweight title will be contested. Who do you have in that matchup, Usman or Covington?
That's a good fight. Both very similar fighters, both high-level wrestlers. And, you got the guy I think Usman's a great champion. He's got a good head on his shoulder, good family man. And then you got the guy that everybody loves to hate, which is Covington. But that said, both amazing fighters. And I think it's going to come down to who's got the best striking. I think they're both good enough to keep the fight standing, so they're both going to be forced to strike it out, which I don't mind that at all. I think that's going to be awesome. But I'm definitely leaning towards my man Usman for sure.
So, quick question right in front. There seemed to be a couple times in the second when you had Luque pretty hurt. He was down, you were trying to rain down, ground and down, and it seemed like you backed off. Was the hand a part of that, or was it just you realized you didn't have the spot that you needed and were trying for something else?
I think it was the fact that I didn't really have the spot. And when I knocked him down, it was kind of weird because he just sat down. It's not like he fell. He just kind of backed up and sat down and rolled to his back. So I was kind of like, is this guy setting me up for something? What's he doing? So that was kind of going, out there a little bit, kind of going through my head. So I just tried to pick my shots. And when I didn't land, I didn't want to get into a grappling match. I see that done a lot, where guys rush in, and then your opponent that you just hurt grabs a hold of you and they recover. So I didn't want that to happen. So I tried to get the fight standing as soon as possible.
And there's also, his back was the cage, you were firing away, didn't get the shot you were looking for, and again, also backed off.
Again, kind of the same thing. He's been coming forward pretty much the whole fight. Once he started backing up, I figured he was trying to lead me down a rabbit hole, and then I do that to a lot of guys as well. I'll back up, get them to come in, and then I'll plant, boom, and fire, and they run into it. So I figured that's what he was thinking. So I kind of slowly moved in, you know, trying to pick my shots and back out because I wasn't really sure he was looking for the counter.
Yep.
Wonderboy, just wondering, I mean, you've been in the division for a while now. Would you say this is the most skilled and the toughest it's been? I mean, Vicente was one of your hardest challenges, and this is not a guy that's even ranked too highly yet. Would you say it's the most skilled at the moment that you've seen it?
In a while, yes. Everybody I fight in the UFC is high level skill. But when it came to, you know, down to adapting to somebody, I think Rory McDonald was that guy that I really had to adapt to and figure out. Because those guys like that, they make changes after every time they fight. You know, guys like Johnny Hendricks, no offense, but you've seen him fight once, you've seen him fight 100 times. But Rory McDonald and Vicente Luque, they make changes. So those are the guys you kind of have to worry about when you're out there. So I had to be very cautious. He was very high level, and in his striking, Dutch kickboxing, had some good leg kicks. But then again, I mean, he kind of threw the same thing over and over again. You know, he tried to hit with the right hand, and then he hit with a few left hooks, and he would go to the leg. He occasionally threw a spin back kick, but I felt that it wasn't natural for him. But definitely the toughest guy, like tough as in he took some shots and kept on coming. So that right there, I mean, just, you know, I've seen guys break mentally after fighting guys like that, you know. It was good. It was a good scrap for sure.
Just last one from me. Just wondering, did you get a chance to see Darren Till's performance against
Not a
Kevin
whole
Gaston?
lot of it. Not a whole lot of it. I was actually doing media and stuff when that fight was going on. I was trying to peek out the corner of my eye. They're like, focus! So I had to stay focused on what they were asking me so I get the answers right. But I heard he won. I heard the fight was very close. I heard from some people that Kevin won it. I heard from some people that Till won it. So it was kind of back and forth from what I was hearing.
Steven over here, congratulations on the win. Damian Maia just had a big win over Ben Askren, and he announced that he's going to fight 2 more times before he calls it a career. And if I ask somebody who would they like to matchmake against Damian Maia for one of those last 2 fights, your name comes up an awful lot. Would you want to be one of those guys that would
He's
fight
a
Damian Maia?
tough and scary guy, man. I don't care what you say. The guy's 41, but he would kill you in a heartbeat on the ground, grab you by your wrist and just drag you down there and choke you out. And very scary guy. I would have to take some time to really prepare for him, but hey, would love to scrap. Anybody in the division, man, especially the top 15, I would love to step out there with him. But my mind is set forward right now, going up. I would love to fight Masvidal again or Nate. But we'll see. Yeah, it could definitely happen in the future for sure.